What's poppin'? Majic Mike in the mix. This is one of my biggest interviews right here. We got Vinnie from the legendary group Naughty by Nature. What's going on, my G?
Yo, what's going on, Majic Mike? I'm in the building.
It's a pleasure to have you on the Zoom interview. Oh my gosh. Last time I saw you was here in Ottawa at Blues Fest. You came down, you, Tretch, the whole gang came down here and you performed at Blues Fest. That was
yeah, man. I remember that. That was kind of crazy too. Yeah. And it was pre-COVID when we could come outside and have concerts. So we're definitely missing that element of music these days.
Yeah, you definitely gonna come back to Ottawa though. Hope so though.
Yeah. We're going everywhere now. I know with this pandemic, everyone is really assessing life. Like, damn, did I take everything for granted? Did I travel as much as I should? Did I go to as many concerts as I should? Have I lived enough? So I'm sure everyone will be out seeking to live their best life. So we'll definitely be out there.
Could you imagine when everybody gets the green light and everybody's back at Blues Fest or some type of event? You're going to make sure you party hard for that one.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely going to be a lot of hard partying and celebrating life, man, because you never know. And you never know when the next breakout may happen. It could be something totally different. So count the blessings and get it in.
I wanted to ask you how you've been handling this whole COVID-19 and Black Lives Matter. Let's get right into it. Like, Vinnie from Naughty by Nature, I'm not even going to get into it, like where you grew up and all that at first. Like, how are you handling this whole Black Lives Matter?
You know what? It's been really, really good for us. I mean, we're so blessed, man, because when this thing first broke out and everything shut down, all of a sudden, because again, we travel the world, all of a sudden we had Miss Rita Wilson, who's Tom Hanks' wife. They were in Australia filming a movie, and the two of them were the first major celebrities to be diagnosed with COVID, So they were quarantined and they were locked down, and Rita Wilson memorized our song Hip Hop Hooray. She had to memorize it for a movie a couple of years prior. So when she was in, lockdown and quarantine, she was like, I wonder if I remember that song because it was so complicated. And she recorded herself singing Hip Hop Hooray and just happened to upload it to Instagram, and it went viral, So next thing you know, we did a remix video of Hip Hop Hooray with Rita Wilson, and that did well. And we were able to, donate the proceeds to Music Cares, which is a nonprofit that benefits all of the musicians and, a lot of staff that's out of work, stage hands, sound and lighting guys. So there's a lot of people out of work right now. And man, for us, we just came right behind that with our big homie, Donnie Wahlberg and New Kids on the Block. We filmed a virtual video called House Party. So it was New Kids on the Block, Jordan Sparks, Boys the Men, Big Frida, and us, So we've been crazy busy, man. And all of a sudden, our boy Burna Boy came out. He's the Afrobeats Don, young brother, 28, 29 years old, man, out of Nigeria. He did this collaboration with us on his new album, a song called Naughty by Nature, and he wanted Naughty by Nature on it. So it's like work-wise, we've been just so busy, man, and so blessed during this COVID time. And man, just all of our family, on the other note, all of our family and friends, for the most part, they've been healthy. They've been blessed. And man, I'm like, you know what? Seems like whether we're regularly touring and open and free or during this pandemic, we've been just so busy, man. So busy.
You know what? Anybody who's busy during this whole coronavirus, this whole pandemic is truly blessed from God. Like you still have the #1 most popular hip hop single, OPP. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? Everyone, they have this protective equipment is PPE. Yeah. Personal protective equipment. Right. So people are like, you down with PPE? And all of the memes were going, I'm like, man, we can't get a rest even during the pandemic. So
TikTok must have went crazy, man. And what do you think of the new generation picking up, OPP and, all your classic tracks right now?
Yeah, I think it's really a good thing, man, because, music is the gift that keeps on giving. And we were blessed enough to have, pretty big records. And, all of these years later, like next year, we'll be celebrating 30 years, in the music industry as Naughty by Nature. So what we're learning is that a lot of people our age, like I'll be 50 years old next month. So a lot of people our age have turned on their teenage, kids. And we see a lot of people having babies, like a year-old, 2-year-olds, saying, hey, ho, hey, ho. So they're turning on the young people to our music and to our legacy as a whole. So we definitely appreciate that. So all the OGs keep, teaching the young kids about that classic 90s hip hop.
Let me tell you, man, I was in junior high school, okay, when OPP dropped, and, one of my dudes went to New York and he picked up the OPP hat. He's the only one in Ottawa that had it. And let me tell you, man, it was crazy. In the clubs, you heard the track on the radio, you totally changed the lives of us, and especially Tretch with the, the lock around his neck, the chain and lock. And when he brought out the machete at the Grammys.
Yeah.
Classic right there, classic. So you all grew up, Naughty by Nature, all y'all grew up in, East Orange County, New Jersey? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, East Orange, New Jersey, yeah. Absolutely.
That's right. And how was it growing up back then with, when did you meet Tretch and when did you meet KG?
Well, we've been childhood friends since like junior high school when we met Tretch, but KG and I, we live like 3 blocks away from each other. So we've known each other since like 8, 9, 7 years old, 7, 8, 9 years old. So, we come from a small town, 4 square miles, about 60,000 people here in our town. So it's hard to miss someone, but, we've always known each other. And when we were in high school in the 80s, so 84, I was a freshman. So we were in 84 to 88, and KG is a year older than us. So we first got together in like 87 for our first talent show. And we did that for K's senior talent show. That went over so well, man. We just decided to say, you know what? We may have something here. And we kept performing locally. The next thing you know, we took it serious. So that was pretty much our story.
Has KG always been your DJ and producer?
Yes, he has. As a matter of fact, all 3 original members have been there like since high school. We were similar to Dougie Fresh and the Get Fresh crew when we first started, because there were 2 DJs. So it was KG, a guy named Mufi. They were the 2 DJs. Then we had 2 beatboxers. So it was myself and our boy Octobox. And then there was only 1 MC. It was Tretch. So it was actually 5 people in a group, but only 1 MC. And then eventually, Ak and Mufi, they left the group. And it was KG, Tretch, and myself. And that's who, when we were in high school, we were a group called the New Style. And then after we were the New Style, and once we hooked up with Queen Latifah around 89, we changed our name to Naughty by Nature and got signed to Flavor Unit and Tommy Boy Records in 1990. And that's when, that was pretty much the birth of Naughty by Nature.
You know what? You're so on cue. You just answered 4 of my questions, all in that one sentence, But speaking of Queen Latifah now, like when you grew up in New Jersey, I know you have a couple, famous groups like Lords and Underground, Redman, Artifacts, again, Queen Latifah. Now, did you run into these, these other celebrity artists growing up?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we all came up together, like Elder Sensei from Artifacts. He was in maybe a year younger than me. Tretch and I in high school. So we literally went to high school together. Queen Latifah, she did her first year when we were all freshmen. We all went to the same high school. And then her mother was a teacher in Irvington, a neighboring city. So she transferred to a different high school. But not only them, Lauren Prize, Wyclef from
That's
the
right.
They all grew up, we all grew up the same. And when we were teenagers, there was a thing called the Tough Teen Talent Competition at Club 88. So all of the youth used to go there and compete against each other. So again, you would find, at the time they weren't the Fugees, but it was the Fugees, it was Redman, it was Lords of the Underground, it was Artifacts, Queen Latifah, Naughty by Nature. I mean, we were all just amateurs on a come up, man, and hey, that's what it was back then. So definitely Jersey, man. We have our pool of talent. We're blessed to have a lot of, talented individuals, Whitney Houston included.
Yeah, man. Just New Jersey produced a lot of artists, and it gave a lot to the hip hop and just urban music in general. Same thing with R&B. Now,
Yeah,
let's talk about OPP. You know, what I mean, your first, you know, what I mean, #1 single was like on #6 on the 100 Hot Billboard. You know, what I mean, it just you're all over the place. Now, the
right.
process with OPP, like, how did this? Like, I ask every historical artist, and how did this track form? You know what I mean? Like, who brought the idea? Did KC just play the beat for you all on the SB 1200? Like, just tell me the whole, like, how was the beat made? Just tell us the whole process. I want to hear
Right,
this. This
right.
this history.
Well, KG had always been, for one, when we were in high school, you know, once we did that talent show and we did more local shows, we were like, you know what, we could take this thing serious. So we began recording in the studio. So KG was an amateur beat maker. He started playing around with you know, the beat machines, his first Casio keyboard beat machine. And at the time, we were still on the block, meaning we were street kids, you know, hustling on the streets. And a lot of creative content, especially a lot of creative sayings, come out when you're on the block and you're drinking and smoking and just clowning with your homies.
But I will say this. You're right. KC, he was more like a melody guy. He played a lot of melody on the piano. So yeah, sorry about
Yeah.
saying SB 1200. He's a straight Casio man right there.
Right. That was before all of those beat machines started coming out. So, you know, while we were on the block, there was a guy, Moo Brown, who used to come around our block. And he was from our town, but he wasn't from our block. So he used to come on our block saying, I'm down with OPM, other people's money. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's coming on our block to get money, and we just clowned him back like, nah, brother, we down with OPP, other people's property. And then we had, you know, Tretch really wrote the song. So once that became a term on the block, like, we down with other people's property, you know, K let us hear the beat, and then Tretch was like, I have something clever for this OPP concept. And he really broke the song down. 1P was for the boys, 1P was for the girls, and then generic, you know, was for everyone. And at the end of the day, man, that saying and song was like created on a street corner, literally.
I gotta play that. Let's hear that track right now. OPP by Naughty by Nature, right here on the Majic Hour. Brah! We're back, and those of you on my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Majic with a J, Majic Mike. Hit me up on Instagram, Majic with a J, Majic Mike 7725. We got Vinnie from the legendary hip hop group Naughty by Nature right here on the Zoom interview. My brother,
Yes.
OPP still sounds beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the gift that keeps on giving, man.
Of course.
Sure.
Now, you know, the 90s, the golden era, we had so many, you know, wonderful movies like New Jack City, Boys in the Hood. But there's this one called New Jersey Drive, okay? And at the time this movie came out, I was getting into a little bit of trouble myself, so I kind of related to that. And there wasn't too many movies that were, you know what I mean, like, you know, about, you know, brothers stealing cars, that whole networking, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and then all of a sudden, you know, they, you know, I guess the director asked you to do one of the tracks for the soundtrack of the movie, and the track is called Craziest. Now, tell us a little about Craziest right now, and how did the director of, you know, New Jersey Drive get you on the soundtrack?
Right. Well, back then, you know, a lot of movies, like you said, the urban movies were popping off, man. And, you know, we were blessed to have success with OPP, and everything's going to be all right. So they approached us and was like, you know, we're doing this movie based on the New Jersey carjack scene and the stolen car scene. So for us, till this day, I've never seen that movie, but I could imagine what it was because I definitely lived it, you know? And at the time we were on our third album. If Craziest was on that soundtrack, then we were on our third album. So Craziest was like, back then we started traveling a lot, and we knew the power of connecting different cities together. So with the street element of the stolen cars in New Jersey Drive, and then the Craziest, man, we were like able to incorporate different cities and different counties. And the funniest thing is, you know, Tretch was definitely still hanging in the streets and getting with all the street dudes, man. He got with the homies, and in that video, they actually recorded the guys stealing the cars. They even went to a detective car, took the siren off, put it on top of their car, and had the cops chase them through the streets. And all of that footage is in the craziest video, man. I'm like, we had to be out of our minds to be that adventurous back then. But you know, this is why I don't blame many young people for doing a bunch of stupid stuff, because when you're that young and just have that much energy, you don't even realize what you're doing until you get older and look back and be like, you know what, I was an idiot.
You know, we're all young at that time, right? So, you know, let's hear this track, Craziest, right? And then when we come back, I want to talk about your experiences with Tupac. You know what I mean? Because I know Tupac was close to Tretch, and I know you're around Tupac too as well, and he really loved Naughty by Nature. So we're going to come back. We're going to talk about a little bit about that. And we're going to talk about some other stuff, what you're up to now, you know what I mean, in 2020. All right? Here we go. Here's Craziest. And let me tell you, again, KG is wonderful on the Casio. I want to get KG on and ask him, or if you got time, ask him, what did you use for that? You know what I'm saying? I want to know everything you use for that. All right, here's the track by Naughty by Nature, Craziest, right here on the Majic Hour. Blah! And we're back. We got Vinnie from Naughty by Nature right here in the Zoom interview. So, Vinnie.
Yes, sir.
You enjoying yourself?
Absolutely, man. Great conversation.
When you came to Ottawa, okay, did you, like, what was your first, you know, what did you think when you first got here?
Well, you know what? We've been coming up to Canada and up there since, you know, our very first album. So we've always had a lot of love up there. I remember it being very cold up there in the wintertime. But just more than that, we realized, like, the people up there loved hip hop. Very diverse culturally up there. You know, you have a lot of Caribbean people, Indian people, you know, white Canadians. So we realized, like, wow, this is a diverse area up here. And we always just had love, you know, for the area up there.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So let's talk about, you know, some of the experiences that you've had with Tupac. You know what I mean? What's some of the things you could tell us about Tupac when you hung with him, and, you know, some of the music that you saw him, you know, doing in the studio? Because I'm pretty sure you're in the lab with him sometimes. Let's just talk about a little bit about your experiences that you've had with Tupac.
Yeah, well, Tupac, we met Tupac by way of when we were first getting signed to Flavor Unit Management. Queen Latifah and Shakim, they was just starting their management company, and Naughty by Nature was the first group they signed. So when they signed us, we had to shop our album. And what they did was, they knew we were street kids, so they knew that Tretch was our MC, and they were like, you know what? At the time, they couldn't afford to take all three of us on tour, so they took Tretch on tour with them, and that's when they were touring Queen Latifah, Heavy D, Public Enemy, Digital Underground. All of them were touring together, and that's when Pac and Tretch first met up, when he was a roadie for Queen Latifah and Tupac was a roadie for Digital Underground. So when they came off tour, we came back home. And then next thing you know, they called us for the Juice soundtrack. And Queen Latifah was in the movie. And since they were managing us, they had Tretch try out for the movie. So Tretch had a small role in there, but when he got his part, he remembered Tupac, Pac remembered him, and we used to hang out together on the set of the Juice movie. So in particular, I remember, you know, going uptown, Tretch used to take Tupac around Harlem and take him shopping. Pac would buy jewelry, clothes, all of that stuff. And I remember one time we were in Pac's trailer, and a PA came and opened the door and was like, Tupac, we're ready for you in a few minutes, so get ready. She walked away and left the door open. I remember Pac, you know, running after her. He opened the door. Well, the door was already open. He stuck his head out. Hey, what do you think this is, Hawaii? Close my door next time. And then he closed the door, you know what I mean? Then I remember in his hotel room, you know, we would go up there and chop it up with him, man. And this is when I realized Pac was a real MC, man. He used to sit there and freestyle back and forth with Tretch. and Pac was spitting fast. You know, Tretch was known as being a fast rapper, but Pac, he could spit those lyrics just as fast, and he was super conscious, and, you know, he would tell us about his mother, you know, and being involved in the Black Panther movement and just having that socially conscious edge about him. So, you know, those are some of the things I remember about Pac. And finally, I remember when we had our song Uptown Anthem on the Juice soundtrack. So they had wrapped the movie and we shot the video for Uptown Anthem. So we had Pac do a cameo in there. And if you look on Coming Around the Corner with My Uptown Bunch, we're coming around this corner at the bodega, and that's Pac standing there. And we started jumping him in the video. So if you see that in the video, we're jumping Tupac. He's really smothered. You can't really tell that's him. But I remember when we were filming, in between takes, the director would say, break. So when we break, Pac was like, you know, if this was real life, it wouldn't be going down like this, right?
Can I ask you something? You know that Salt and Pepper video, What a Man, right? There was a brother in there. You didn't get to see his face because he's smothering his face all over the lady, right? Yeah. But he has the thug life, and it looked like Tupac's stomach. Was he in that video?
That was absolutely Tupac. So when Tretch and Pac were running, and Tretch, you know, he was hooked up with Pepper, and they were dating, that was the ultimate tag team. So Tretch was like, you know what? They're doing this What a Man video. So, you know, Pep is my girl. And he put Pac onto Salt. But what happened was Pac was so controversial back then that Salt and Pepper's record label and management, they were like, we don't want to put him or really show him in the video. But Salt and Pepper was like, nah, we want to do this. And the way they edited it, they edited Pac out the video, basically. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And now when you look at Pac's legacy right now, I can imagine that label is kicking themselves in the butt, right?
For sure, man. I was watching...
You're cutting out a legend from hip-hop history.
You know what I mean? I was watching Poetic Justice the other day, and let me tell you something. I think that was one of Tupac's best pitches. You know what I mean? Top 2, Poetic Justice. Janet Jackson did a great job on that too as well. Now, how's your Spotify doing right now since the whole Corona? And, you know, I mean, you just told me the TikTok and the whole craze again of Naughty by Nature. You know, is like, how's this Spotify? Can we find everything on Spotify? And what is your Spotify?
We follow Spotify because we're doing the independent label situation, KG and I. So actually, I was just talking to K today. Last year we had like 1 million, 1.3 followers, and now it's like double. You know, so you can imagine between COVID and everyone organically, you know, listening to all of the streaming services. And like I said, on top of Rita Wilson redoing Hip Hop Hooray and our collaboration with New Kids on the Block and everything that we're doing, you know, it just organically increases the streams, it increases the monthly listeners. And, you know, it's our thing, man. We're in the studio right now just creating a bunch of new music, man, to feed these people until, you know, we get back outside and get back on the touring circuit.
Of course, of course. And are we going to hear are we going to hear a brand new Naughty by Nature album with brand new tracks? And how would that sound? Like, would you use some of the trap beats, you know what I mean, and some of the artists featured on your album?
Not really, because KG has his specific sound, and, you know, he's able to do that trap beat sound on some of the new artists we're working on. But, you know, Naughty by Nature, we have like that throwback 90s sound, but we also have that timeless classic feel-good party music. So when K gets in there with his production team, he can make those kind of beats and it doesn't sound dated. And then Tretch, he loves the hardcore boom bap, original New York, you know, hip-hop sound. So that's the kind of stuff we're working on now. Like, if you go through our social media, you'll see me, KG, and Tretch in the studio working on new projects, as well as KG and I have this Uptown Sluggers, our Slugger Music record label, and we're putting out a bunch of new artists. So we're in the lab heavy right now. So we're definitely not wasting time during this time of COVID.
All right. So, you know what I mean? You got this one track, Holiday, right? And it features Finesse. Tell us a little bit about Holiday, because this is, again, a classic track right here.
Yeah, the original song is Lover's Holiday by Change. And Change is a group that Luther Vandross was originally a part of. So he sings on the original the original song. And KG sampled the song. And, you know, what I remember most about that song is that Tretch usually back then, he usually led off every song and then I would come and assist him, you know. But on this song, Holiday, I did the first verse and I did the third verse. And ironically enough, that's our biggest song in Australia. They love Holiday from Naughty by Nature, you know. When we go out there, it's like, yeah, OPP, yeah, Hip Hop Array, yeah, Jamboree, yeah, Feel Me Flow, yeah, Uptown Anthem. But when we drop Holiday, it's like, yo, that song eclipses all of those songs I just named, and they lose their minds out there. So it's a good, feel-good party song. We had a great time filming that video. As a matter of fact, we have the late, great Aaliyah, who did a cameo in that video, and Rakim is in that video. We have a couple of great cameos in that video people don't know about. Plus, I was able to put on my roller skates and show my roller skating skills on that video.
So what's your social media, Vinny? And what's Naughty by Nature's social media?
On Instagram, we're at Naughty by Nature, the number 4 ever. I'm at Uncle Vin Rock on Instagram. Twitter, everything is at Naughty by Nature. Facebook is facebook.com/Naughty by Nature. And if that's too much for you, just go to naughtybynature.com, our main website, and you can dig down below. All of our social media is there.
And all your links to hear your music is all on your social media too as well.
Oh, yes. We point you to everything. YouTube, all of the DSPs, and we're ready to rock. Oh, and also, don't forget, go to naughtybynature.com and click shop. We have one of the sexiest direct-to-fan, artist-driven clothing lines out there, man. All of our merch, there's no third-party person running it. We invest in our inventory. We have our own screen printing shop. We do all of our own fulfillment, and we're getting so much love from it, man. So y'all get ready. And next year is our 30th anniversary. So we have a super sexy, super exclusive 30th anniversary merchandise capsule coming.
You know what, Vinny? Can I get you, Tretch, and KG on for your 30th anniversary?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We're going to be doing a whole lot of interviews, and hopefully we'll be up there in Ottawa so we can do it face-to-face.
Oh,
you know?
we do it face-to-face right on CHUO 89.1. So right now it's September 11th, okay? This interview is being aired right now, September 11th. One last thing. Where were you on September 11th? What can you tell us your experience on that day? Because, all right, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was home during 9/11, and at the time, my girlfriend and I, every morning I would get up and take her to work because we lived in Jersey, and she would take the train into Manhattan because she worked in Manhattan. So for some reason that morning, we never turned on the radio or the television. We just get up, jump in the shower, get dressed, get in the car, and I drove her downtown North. So all of a sudden, we just started seeing abnormal traffic and abnormal congestion. We're like, what's going on? I literally dropped her off, and by the time I spun around the corner, we had the two-way pager. She hit me and was like, come back, look at your pager. And at the time, it said, both twin towers of the World Trade Center collapsed. I'm like, what? I spun around, picked her up. We went back home and turned on the television, and we saw everything unfold. We were like, wow. And
you know what I mean? We're going to play this track, Holiday, featuring Finesse, and it's a pleasure to have you on.
All right, cool. Thanks for having me, bro. And again, man, once we get back to normal, we'll get up there and we'll have all three of us face to face, all right?
Of course, you know what I mean? And by the way, you know what I mean? I just wanted to say, just keep doing your thing. Thank you so much for the years of giving us real hip hop. I like what you said, where you're not going to have any trap music, which is nothing wrong with it, but you want to keep it organic and traditional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. From our age group, man, and a lot of our people who grew up on hip hop, they just love that sound and that vibe of the 90s. So we could definitely give them that same vibe. And hey, there's enough for everyone. That's what, our kids should be listening to, the trap music. So let them have that, and we'll have our 80s and 90s hip hop.
That's right. All right, Vinny, nice talking to you. Here's your track. Here's Naughty by Nature featuring Finesse, Holiday, right here on the Majic Hour. Exclusive interview. Not but the best. All right, here we go.